Thanks so much, Mr. Secretary. Okay, we're now going to turn to alternating 5-minute rounds. I'll ask the first series, then go to Senator Heinrich, and then we'll alternate back and forth in order of seniority, subject to the early bird rule on the committee, between Democratic and Republican senators, and we'll proceed that way. Mr. Secretary, the housing crisis is one that's felt in many parts of the country, but it's especially severe in some of our western states, like my home state of Utah, where the federal government controls the vast majority of the land, about 2/3 of it, nearly 70%. Now, as you know, one of my top priorities has been to make a small percentage of underused federal land available to address housing affordability. The truth is that federal land is a massive underutilized asset, and local communities in the West are often those that pay the highest price for federal inaction in this area. Now, I was encouraged to hear President Trump talk at length about the need to use unused federal land to address the housing crisis, and I was very excited to see the joint HUD Interior Task Force that you helped to establish. Thank you for doing that, to take the lead in this area. A bill that I've introduced called the Houses Act is something that follows through on the President's commitment. Promises made, promises kept. Could you expound a little bit more on how just a fraction of 1% of unused federal land could help address the Western housing crisis?
Yes, I'd be happy to, Chairman. As I said at the opening, just within Interior, there's about 480 million acres of surface. You take the U.S. Forest Service, you can add another couple hundred million on that. If you took that number, 680 million acres of surface, and you said 1% of that, that would be 6.8 million acres. But we don't need to even think about that. I mean, let's just think about an example. Harry Reid, when he was the Senate Majority Leader, passed bipartisan legislation called the Southern Nevada Lands Act that instructed and created a framework on how to dispose of lands in Southern Nevada, particularly in fast-growing Clark County around Las Vegas. The Secretary of HUD and I were in Las Vegas there. There was a land transaction that we conducted through that process. Only 41 acres were sold. 41 acres. We're not talking hundreds of thousands or millions. 41 acres produced $16.75 million back to the federal government from that small land sale. Another parcel that we were on was being sold through that to build affordable housing. It was about an 80-acre parcel. This wasn't recreation land. This isn't national park land. This isn't resource land. This is right next to a 4-lane, growth. What I'll call it, not a highway, but it was just, a busy 4-lane street with center turn lanes with billboards on the side of it, billboards sitting on top of the federal land, and that's going to provide much-needed housing for the fast-growing Henderson. In your own state, we've been able to, just since February, since I've been in office, we've conducted 2 land swaps. These were things that were long considered but not executed, which again swapped land between the federal government and the state, filling in the checkerboard. In one case, we got land from Utah that helped us fill in a checkerboard of federal wilderness, but we also freed up land for the state of Utah to be able to use more productively. So as you stated so articulately, we've got a lot of value trapped in land, particularly bordering our fast-growing metro areas. We did a study of all these federal lands, and there's 250,000 acres that's within just a few miles of cities of 5,000 or more. And again, in the states like Idaho, Utah, Nevada in particular, we've got high percentage of federal land. A great opportunity to help lower the cost of housing by being smart on a case-by-case basis and moving forward with projects that help communities and help our states.
Thank you. It's no secret that the Department of the Interior has maintenance backlog. It's a significant one, backlog that some have estimated at more than $33 billion. Yet past administrations have prioritized land acquisition over responsible stewardship of the land the federal government already owns. Would you agree that before we acquire more land, the department should first do everything it can to, take care of the land that it already owns?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. And we have a massive deferred maintenance backlog, not just in our national parks. Of course, we have it there, but across BLM, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, every place I've been, I've seen deferred maintenance, and whether that's building, roads, access. Back to the Southern Nevada Lands Act, which could be a model, some of the revenue that came from those land sales goes into and back into recreation. I had an opportunity to visit on BLM land a new visitor center that's being built near Henderson. The funding for that new visitor center is coming from a portion of those land sales. The Bureau of Reclamation applied for and got a grant. There's a new visitor center being built at Hoover Dam, which is a huge, not only hugely important for electrical generation and for irrigation, but there's a new visitor center there also paid for by these land sales. So one of the ways to solve for some of the deferred maintenances is to be strategic in how we dispose of the federal lands and then recirculate those dollars into improving the recreational opportunities and the educational opportunities for our citizens.
Right.